Well, we don't have any. We're live. Hi.
Hello there.
Yep, it's working. Never can tell. Happy Monday. We had to pre-record this because as you're watching this, I'm in a finance meeting. And, I have a day job, so I can't skip things like finance meetings to record Daily Dose. So thanks for watching with us. Wow, I look enormous in this angle.
No,
Wow.
it's the cardigan. It's
Oh
the
my
cardigan.
gosh. Very unflattering. Gonna have to work through that. All right. Thanks to everybody who tuned in last Friday for our challenge. 3 books went out, one from my mom, The Choice, one The Choice from us, and one Braiding Sweetgrass. So Rebecca,
Okay.
Sandy, and Chris, those books are on their way to you. So that's exciting. All right. Dr. Mary, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm all right too. So we are taking this from a thing I found on LinkedIn last week from a guy named George Gopoulos.
I think
Hard
he's
to say.
Greek.
I think he's Greek too.
He's probably retired then.
Yeah, I have no idea how to say his name, but he doesn't know us, so it's unlikely he'll find this. But sorry, Stratty. So it's the phrase, and I'll post a picture of it, is your mind is a garden, your thoughts are the seeds, you can grow flowers or you can grow weeds. So it's kind of nursery rhymey, but I think actually the idea behind it is good. So here's what he has to say about it. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. If you continue to believe as you have always believed, you will continue to act as you have always acted. If you continue to act as you have always acted, you will continue to get what you have always gotten. If you want different results in your life or your work, all you have to do is change your mind. That's a little bit if you give a mouse a cookie, which my dad would not go for, not my dad's favorite series of books. But I think the sentiment is really true. If you're always thinking the same way, nothing changes.
Yeah.
So how do you want to relate that to anything?
There's many ways to relate this to my successfully navigating sobriety, especially from the start. Obviously, I mean, it's a simple choice. It goes back to lots of the things we've talked about before. You just have a simple choice. Grow flowers or grow weeds. I could have woken up from that coma, and a lot of people do, and not cared and gone back to drinking. I know people have talked about of AA. They go to hospital. They have to pump them full of adrenaline to get them to wake up because they've got that much alcohol in them. And some people have said that's when they signed them out. They signed themselves out against medical advice and went home via a liquor store. Because the addiction to alcohol is a powerful thing, and more powerful in others to others than quite a few people. But luckily for me, I made a choice. I decided to grow flowers. And it's for some people it's a tough choice. I know we talked back in, I think it may have been in talk or episode 1 about my first roommate, who he was so resigned to the fact of what he thought he was and didn't have any choice but to grow a weed. When I said goodbye to him, he said there's no future left for him. He was just resigned to the fact that he couldn't be helped. Keeping your mind open with part of this rhyme, I think it's the key. And it's not just to get over an addiction, it's for anything. It's how to navigate your life successfully. There's another little chestnut to consider that I remember you sent me it once. It was it's okay to grow a foundation of good roots, but at the end of the day, you're not a tree. Move.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like the soil you're in, you're not a tree. You can move. You can do something about your current state if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, change is hard. There's no question about it. Organizational change, personal change, relational change, it's all hard, but it's all doable if you, as we always talk about, just take the first step in the right direction versus the wrong direction. If we liken this back to a flower garden, so when the snow melts, the flowers don't magically pop up. Every day in the spring, I go out to my wildflower garden and I talk to it and I say, come on, flowers, where are you?
You do.
And I have this whole long system that I do with them because I am a perpetual personifier of nature. And, I'm waiting for it to happen. A lot has to happen underground before you ever see the product of the hard work. So, Maz didn't wake up from his coma and everything was magically fine. Maz woke up from his coma and then the real work began.
Yeah, and it was a lot of work. And I'm no superhero. Everyone's capable of doing that. Because, it did help that I had a hell of a support group. Thank you very much, Dana, Kristen, Doval.
You're welcome very much.
And the trained professionals who, when it became apparent to them that I really wanted to give this a go, they put in the extra, well, they were putting in the extra mile anyway, but they dug deeper just to make sure I got the best possible start to make sure that it was then my choice.
Yeah, you have to have the right dirt and the right amount of sun and the right amount of rain and the nourishment and the support and all of those things. I think this also really speaks to, as Maz said, the power of a positive community. I think it's really hard to enact change all by yourself. You have to have people who hold you accountable and who lift you up and who ask hard questions and who celebrate your small wins and who are there through thick and thin. And without that, it's much, much harder to be successful at any kind of change.
I was very lucky that the large majority of people I work with were incredibly supportive of me. We have a great, fantastic circle of friends who were all incredibly helpful. But unfortunately, it's not the same for everyone. And in AA, you hear the stories of people who've gone out, for the rocky start of test the waters, go out with some friends, see what happens, and they had drinks forced on them. They had to leave. People saying, "Well, what do you mean you're not drinking? Have a drink. Don't be stupid." And I had none of that.
Yeah.
So again, that was a lucky thing. So there is that does happen. It's not all roses. It's how you navigate, how you prune. I guess if we're keeping with the plant analogy.
That's a good analogy for you, Dr. Mary.
Well, thank you,
Dr. Botanist.
I'm good at this one. It's when Dana said all this chemistry has to go on. I thought, don't start, just be quiet. Don't start going, oh, actually, it's all. So no, I wasn't going to give anyone a lecture.
I don't think I said chemistry, by the way, because I would never use that word in any sort of scientific context. But whatever, we can go back and check later.
That's all right.
Well, I feel like that's kind of enough for today. But on these snowy fall days heading into winter, it's both nice to think about spring, which feels really, really far away, and also just important to, again, think about the fact that the first place to make change starts in your mind. If you tell yourself you can't do it, you are almost guaranteed not to do it. I don't care what you're working on. I don't care how big or small the change is. I think you almost are guaranteed failure if what your internal monologue is, you can't do this. You'll never be successful at this. You're a loser.
Yeah, and here's a thing for anyone who's struggling or thinking about making a change. Where the second line of this, it says your thoughts are the seed. You can get seeds of thought by talking to people. I mean, why do you have a mentor or a sponsor in an AA group? You don't have to be an AA. You can have a friend you can trust to talk to. You can have someone in the house who's willing to listen and give you advice, and then that's up to you to listen to it. So that advice can become a thought, which then can become a seed for what you want to do next.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be great steering, hallmarks worthy great thoughts. It could be an idea, and you can think, well, even if it's a bad idea, you could know to do the exact opposite.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me just read this to you one more time. Whether you hold in your mind, take two. Whatever you hold in your mind will tend to occur in your life. If you continue to believe as you have always believed, you will continue to act as you have always acted. If you continue to act as you've always acted, you will continue to get what you've always gotten. If you want different results in your life or your work, all you have to do is change your mind. And the last thing I want to say is that we've talked about this a lot, but I think we haven't talked about it for a while. It's not that we are not interested in providing an avenue for someone whose addiction is as far down the road as Maz's was. If this would work for somebody like Maz in, say, January of 2017, when his drinking was literally to the point of almost killing him, great. I don't believe this would have worked for him. I think this is for the people who sometimes wake up and think, boy, I feel lousy. I wonder why I drank so much last night. I wonder if this is becoming a trend. I wonder if I am starting to develop a problem. I should try to get a handle on this before it gets a handle on me. Again, it's not that if you know a full-blown addict, feel free to share this content with them. Or if you are one and are listening, get help. Please get help. We don't believe that our little aphorisms, our little 15-minute back and forth conversations are probably enough to get you where you need to be.
No, if you're in a rehab center, maybe, or you've just moved on to the next step, then this stuff will be a lot of benefit to you because you're at that point where you can listen.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have listened to any of this. Dana's absolutely right, but there was that sweet spot, that point where I did listen to, or a few years before 2017, I probably would have listened. But then there was that big gap when I wouldn't.
Yeah, so the point I think of bringing that up is that we're not in any size, shape, or form pretending to be addiction counselors or to have any of that training or understanding of how to do that. And if you are living with an addict or you have an addict close in your life and you have tried to get them to pay attention to this and they just won't, I don't want you to feel like there's something wrong with you and your situation. It would not have worked at my house either.
No.
It just wouldn't have.
And it wouldn't have
what
worked
you
for me.
need is much, much more serious than what Maz and I can provide for you.
But go ask for it too.
Yeah.
It is
and
scary.
If that's where you want help from us, that's where we could help. If you need help figuring out what the next step is, we could help provide some possible solutions to that.
Absolutely.
All right. Have a great Monday. We'll be back live
Tuesday
on Tuesday at 8:30. Have a good day.
See you then.
Bye.